Man killed inside his home in Nuggerhead, Portmore. The police in Portmore, St. Catherine, are probing the murder of a man inside his home on Rosemary Lane in Nuggerhead early Saturday morning. Dead is 51-year-old Luke Young, otherwise called Screw. It is reported that about 1 a.m., residents heard explosions and check later revealed that Young was shot. The police were summoned and upon arrival, Young's body was found inside his dwelling in a pool of blood. The body was removed to the Spanish Town Hospital. The incident is being investigated by the Bridgeport Criminal Investigations Branch. Man shot and injured after leaving funeral in St. Catherine. The police have not yet stated a motive for the shooting. A 26-year-old man remains in hospital after he was shot and injured by gunmen while returning from a funeral in St. Catherine on Sunday. The victim had reportedly left the burial of a friend in St. Catherine about 5 p.m. when a motorcycle approached him at a stoplight along St. John's Road, Spanish Town. He was fired upon by occupants of the motorcycle and was hit in the lower body and legs. The occupants of the motorbike sped away. The man was assisted to hospital where he was admitted. It is understood that the funeral attended by the victim was from another gunshot victim, Marcus Daly, a resident of Majestic Garden, Kingston 11. Detectives from the Spanish Town Criminal Investigation Branch are probing the matter. Elderly St. James 1 reportedly drowns in Hurricane Beryl floodwaters. An elderly woman from St. James is said to have drowned after she was reportedly swept away by floodwaters resulting from the passage of Hurricane Beryl. The deceased has been identified as Iselda James of the Dumfries address in the parish. James went missing on Wednesday, and her partially decomposed body was found floating in a pond in her community on Saturday afternoon. Delay in case against brothers accused of killing uncle. The case against two brothers charged with murder in relation to the death of their uncle is being hampered by the delayed release of the autopsy findings. 29-year-old Ricardo Rooms and Shane Samuels were charged after the killing last December of 55-year-old Bentley Vaughns. They are being represented by attorney-at-law Swain Phillips and Adrian Days, respectively. When the matter came before the St. James Parish Court recently, the clerk informed the court that the post-mortem report was still outstanding. The document, which will indicate the cause of death, is considered critical to the case. As a result of the outstanding report, presiding judge Casey Grant Price set the matter for mention on July 18. Samuel's bail was extended and was remanded in custody until that day. The incident is said to have taken place in Roadside St. James about 2 a.m. on December 26, 2023. It is alleged that during a family dispute, Samuels heard a building block at Vaughn's striking him in the head, while Rooms is accused of brandishing a knife and fatally stabbing their uncle. The police were summoned and Vaughn's was taken to hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The brothers were subsequently arrested and charged. Beryl and the Duppy Cherry Tree. Clifford Bennett has basically done all he could in terms of preparation ahead of the arrival of Hurricane Beryl last Wednesday. But about 5 p.m., as he laid in his bed in his small house at 33 Potter's Row in Raytown, listening to the storm's heavy wind and rain pummeling in the capital city, Bennett got the scare of his life. "I just feel the ground vibrate, then me see the house a rock," he told reporters last Thursday. After that, he heard a crashing sound, then realized that a tree close by succumbed to Beryl's onslaught and fell into his wooden and zinc house. "I had to crawl out," Bennett said, demonstrating the movement on his hands and knees. Instinctively, he reached for a plastic sheet to protect himself from the rain, but a neighbor in the yard who had witnessed his misfortune gave him shelter. "Everything in the mashup," he said, pointing to the leaning house that looked as if it was about to collapse. "A Duppy Cherry Tree. Me born come see it and me 63 years old. Only blackbird I see pitch on it, I eat from it," he told reporters, pointing to the very small fruit on the tree. Bennett said he had no problem paying someone to cut the tree, but he worried that anyone attempting to do so may be at risk of the house falling on them. Until he came up with the solution, he will be staying with neighbors. Those, though, don't include his daughter Susanna Bennett and her grandmother Sharon Anderson, whose apartment on the property also suffered rain damage. They, along with other residents at the property, are appealing to local authorities for help. Golden urges government to be proactive, wants quick response in ravaged southern parishes. With the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season predicted to be above normal, opposition leader Mark Golding is calling on the government to be proactive in its preparation for the possibility of another system affecting Jamaica. At the same time, he appealed to state agencies to prioritize relief response to southern parishes devastated by Category 4 Hurricane Beryl last week. This has been a trial run, and it has been a challenging one for many families. We're hoping that we are not going to see another one like this soon, but it is possible. So people have to be vigilant in their preparation, he said, during a tour of Alligator Pan, Manchester on Sunday, ahead of a scheduled visit to parts of southern St. Elizabeth battered by the storm. The government needs to be vigilant in its preparation of the people. There are gullies, for example, that need to be cleaned. We need to prepare for hurricanes in a more meaningful way going forward, not an announcement the day before the drain should be clean or an allocation to MPs, which may take time to access. We need to have relief supplies and equipment ready to roll out in areas which are prone to be damaged. A whole different approach needs to be taken. We have lessons to be learned from Beryl for sure, added Golding. I would have thought we would see more activity from the state agencies in the badly affected communities by now. I can understand a day or two of assessment, but I think we are beyond that now, and people are really starting to feel the effects of the deprivation caused by Beryl. No light, no water. This is the time when we want to see ODPEM and the other state agencies showing themselves in the communities and delivering blankets, bedding, food items, water and so on, added Golding. Not to politicize this in any way, but we see the gaps, we want to call them out and bring them to the attention of the government so that we can respond quickly to them. Right now, people are hurting in many parts of Jamaica. The assessment needs to be more rapidly so as to get the relief for people needed, he stated. He also criticized the management of ODPEM, saying the whole structure of how we respond to disasters needs to be revamped. ODPEM needs to be more independent and more responsive. Now it has been summoned into the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Civ Ministry, and it is definitely isn't as agile as it once was in dealing with the situations on the ground. I think that needs to be looked at afresh. This is a time when Jamaica needs to pull together. 4 days after Beryl, we want to see the signs of the state rolling out relief to people. People need zinc, building materials, bedding, food and water so that they can start to put their lives back together, added Golding. He also said the Jamaica Public Service Company needs to reassess its readiness for natural disasters. There is a lot of work to be done because the line network seems to have not been very resilient. There are a lot of power lines down, not necessarily caused by tree damage, but some just blew down. The resilience wasn't there. They're going to have to take the stock going forward on how they're going to make our power system more resilient, he added. Some of the poles seem to have been very vulnerable, even concrete poles that didn't seem to be adequately anchored in the ground and have blown over. We are in an era now where the global warming that is taking place means that we're going to have stronger storms more frequently, so we have to prepare for it. This is maybe a crisis that hopefully lead to a more consciousness around the need for the resilience going forward. Golding said while pointing out that Jamaica may need overseas assistance to get communities back on the grid.
4 days after Beryl, we want to see signs of the state really rolling out relief to people. People need zinc, they need building materials, they need food and water. And JPS, are on it, but they need to reach these areas as soon as possible because these are the areas which are most badly affected. We're just getting a sense of what the situation is like on the ground with the people, what their needs are, so we can advocate on their behalf. Not looking to politicize this in any way, but where we see the gaps, we want to call them out and bring them to the attention of the government so they can respond quickly to them. Right now, people are hurting in many parts of Jamaica. Generally speaking, I think the whole structure of how we respond to disasters needs to be revamped. ODPEM used to be more independent, more responsive. Now it's been subsumed in this Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, this massive ministry, and it's definitely not as agile as it once was in dealing with the situations on the ground. And I think that needs to be looked at afresh.
NCB launches $300 million disaster relief fund. National Commercial Bank Jamaica Limited, NCBJ, on Friday announced the launch of a $300 million disaster relief fund through its philanthropic arm, NCB Foundation, to support those affected by Hurricane Beryl, the Category 4 system, which ravaged several parts of the island on Wednesday. The NCB Foundation, working with other approved charitable organizations, will provide support to individuals and communities impacted by the hurricane. This will primarily assist with the restoration of homes and farmers' crops in more severely damaged parishes such as St. Elizabeth, Hanover, and Manchester, according to the institution in a press release. CEO of NCB Foundation, Martin, explained, "The fund will be established with an initial pledge of $20 million from NCB. We will also solicit corporate and individual contributions from this vital cause. All donations received will be matched by NCB up to the maximum of $150 million. Chairman of the NCB Financial Group Limited, Michael Leachin, added, "We are deeply concerned for our fellow Jamaicans who have suffered emotional and financial loss due to this hurricane. This fund is an opportunity to provide a total of $300 million to help restore normalcy to their lives and communities. I therefore call on our customers, other corporate entities, the general public, and the diaspora to support this initiative so that we can double your donation. For every dollar you give, NCB will match it," Leachin stated. According to the release, donations may be made via transfer from the period of July 5 to July 31, 2024 to following accounts in the name of NCB Building a Better Jamaica Fund. For Jamaican account, it will be NCB Mandeville Branch 501-556-815. For US dollar, it will be NCB 127 Knoxford Boulevard Branch 354-658984. Further information about the fund and the partnerships established to administer and distribute relief aid will be made in the days ahead, NCB stated. More than 2 decades ago, NCB responded to a similar crisis by partnering with United Way of Jamaica to provide over $23 million in relief to some 1,400 households, including farmers who lost thousands of crops due to severe flooding. This followed 11 days of continuous rain, which resulted in extensive flooding island-wide and the loss of 9 lives. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.